So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzaielic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end as per Yeshayahu the prophet. We find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. As we read then Yeshayahu, we understand obviously the 61st chapter, where then the cities of the Messiah are returning from a great period of dormancy. Not only this, but then great news came out today, and it is related with Egypt. Egypt is once again asking for military aid, and it is a perfect time for then the Soviet Union to provide Egypt with what is lacking. It is very important. There is the article very importantly placed, where then Egypt is then given military training to Libya, cites an Islamic State threat. This truly is giving us a very important turning point of this entire conflict. As then the Soviet Union is strengthening itself, they had made a partnership with Iran, also extremely important, and as then Egypt, and then having its placed out of the dormancy as per the instructions as we read, then for a time, then 11:8, where then the objects of Egypt were then set aside for a time or sent into exile, then he, the northern kingdom, shalt give then a forward motion for the Egyptians, so then they can secure their place where they are at. As we read then 11:8 and then the article, you find then very important information regarding this period of time, and Egypt is absolutely definitely trying to then having some sort of a control around the area. And then later on, as we read then the 9th verse and then section of the 10th verse, then comes the flow. Certainly the flow gives you an indication of then the forward motion of the moment. So then, as we then read the actions of then Egypt, later on then the Soviet Union makes a deal with Africa. So then gives continuation in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, until we find then the reason why this is taking place, and then the Soviet Union then becoming greater than the former. So there is a couple of understandings of this. Firstly, you find then the Gentile Netzer found then on the 7th verse, and then gives you the action of the northern kingdom, what the northern kingdom should do, and then explains the condition of Egypt on verse 8, and then the verse 9 explains then who gave the power to Egypt. So then later on there is a relationship of the northern kingdom and Africa, and culminates then in the understanding of the end of time regarding the northern kingdom coming later with much equipment and a great army. From then on explains then the relationship of the Soviet Union being then a power force reckoned with as far as military equipment, and then dealing with the violent ones. Explains then section of Yeshayahu the prophet regarding then beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, and the violent ones then making a relationship with Africa. Because of these, we find then the simplicity of these events, but it's crucial, absolutely crucial for this moment, as Egypt is searching for aid from Mr. Putin, obviously, to give him what is required for the moment. So then Egypt can secure its place, and then harmony can be placed back on the land. Great news. As we then read more of these, we can give some more updates later. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.